Hi students, welcome to my channel. Last class we discussed about fundamental physical quantity. What is meant by physical quantity and types of physical quantities and unit and types. Yes, we have discussed about unit and types, and also we discussed about 7 fundamental physical quantities in the nature. Yes, in physics, what and all we are going to study, that one we are going to call it as what? Fundamental physical quantity. This one we are going to call it as physical quantity. What are the quantities we can measure directly? That one we are going to call it as what? Fundamental. We can measure with the help of fundamental quantities. They are going to call it as what? Derived quantities. In nature, only 7 fundamental physical quantities are there. Remaining are what? Derived physical quantities. Now, what are we discussed in the last class? In the same concept, we discussed about units. Yes, sir. We discussed about units. In units, before 1971, we can mention the year before 1971, the different parts of the world or different countries in the world, they are using different system of units for measurements. Yes, sir. For measurements, they are using a different system of units. In that one, there will be a few such as few system of units. Yes, sir. There will be a few system of units. In that one, first one is FPS system. We have to remember, first system is FPS system. Second one is CGS system. CGS system. Third one is MKS system. MKS system. Okay, FPS system, CGS system and MKS system. Okay. See here, in FPS system, yes sir, different parts of the world or different countries in the world, they are using different system of units. In that one, such as there will be few system of units. One is FPS, another will be CGS, another will be MKS. In FPS system, length they are going to measure in foot. Length they are going to measure in foot. Then mass they are going to measure in pound. Mass they are going to measure in pound. Then time they are going to measure in seconds. Time, second. This is what FPS system. In FPS system, the length they are going to measure in foot, mass they are going to measure in pound, time they are going to measure in what? Seconds. Same way, when you come to the CGS system, in CGS system, length they are going to measure in centimeter. Length they are measuring centimeter. Mass they are measuring grams. Time they are going to measure in again seconds only. This is what CGS system. Length they are going to measure in centimeter. Mass they are going to measure in gram, and time they are going to measure in seconds. Next, MKS system. In MKS system, length, here M represent meter. Yes, sir. Length M is going to represent what? Meter. Then K, mass, no. K is going to represent kilogram. K means what? Kilogram. And S represent time is going to measure in seconds. Okay, these are the 3 types of system of units. Yes, sir. 3 types of system of units. Clear? Yes, sir. Before 1971, different countries in the world there is a different system of units. In that one, such as first 3 years, in that few as FPS system. In FPS system, F represent length they are going to measure in foot. Then P, mass Mass P is going to represent pound. Mass they are going to measure in pounds. Time they are going to measure in seconds. Same way, CGS system, length in centimeter, mass in gram, time in seconds. MKS system, length in meter, mass in kilogram, and time in seconds. These are the three system of units. In your exam point of view, in your board exam point of view, they will ask compulsory question. Mention the various types of system of units. Yes, no. Mention the various types of system of units. Keep in mind, there will be three system of units. 3 marks question they will ask. Okay. Now, before 1971, there is a different system of units. But in 1971, the scientists in the world, they made a conference. And they accepted as MK system. They are going to make a small changes. They are going to make a small changes to the MK system and adapted as a MK system as a SI system. System International. System International. System International MKS. Okay, in 1971. Now you can go for any part of the word. Length they are going to measure in standard form, meter only. Mass they are going to measure in kilogram, and time they are going to measure in seconds. Yes, no, time they are going to measure in seconds. This is what units. There are different types of units, but in 1971 they made a internationally they made a conference and accepts as a one system of unit will be all over the world. That one we are going to call it as what? SI system. This one we are going to call it as what? SI system. SI system will be almost MK system only. They made small correction to the SI system and accepted as system international. Means all over the world now they are measuring same system of units. ಯಾವ ಕಂಟ್ರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿ ಲೆಂತ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನಂತ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಮೀಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಮಾಸ್ ನ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಿಲೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಟೈಮ್ ನ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ SI system. Yes, SI system. Okay. Now, last class we discussed about 7 fundamental physical quantities. Yes or no? 7 fundamental physical quantities. Out of 7 fundamental physical quantities, there will be 2 supplementary quantities units are there. 7 fundamental units are there. No? In the same way, 2 supplementary units are there. Okay, supplementary units. Okay, this is also important. They will ask for mention the supplementary units. Yes, I mention the supplementary units. There will be 2 supplementary units. One is plane angle. One is plane angle. Second one is solid angle. Plane angle. Another one is solid angle. The unit for plane angle is radian. Unit for plane angle is radian. Symbol RAD. Okay, unit will be radian. Symbol will be RAD. Next one, the unit for solid angle is steradian, symbol SD we are going to use. That's the symbol we are going to use SD. These are the two supplementary units. Yes, two supplementary units. One is plane angle, unit it will be radian, symbol RAD. Another will be solid angle, unit it will be steradian or symbol we are going to use SD. Clear? Yes, these are the two supplementary units. They will ask for this question also 2 marks. Mention the two supplementary units. Yes, the two supplementary units. Now, last class we discussed about units. Now, yes, sir, what is meant by unit? Now we can discuss about dimension. Yes, sir, we can discuss about dimensions. We can discuss about what? Dimension. Okay. Dimension. Dimension means what? For example, we have to mention a given physical quantity, or we have to express a given physical quantity. Yes, a given physical quantity. Dimension means, the definition it will be simple. The powers to which fundamental quantities are raised to express powers to which the fundamental quantities are raised to express the given physical quantity, express the given physical quantity. Clear? That's a simple definition. The powers to which the fundamental physical quantities are raised to, yes or no, fundamental physical quantities are raised in order to express the given physical quantity. For example, I am going to take a simple example, physical quantity, that will be what? Force I am going to take. Yes, sir, I am going to take what? Force. Force is a physical quantity. Yes, sir, force is a physical quantity. Simple. I have to tell what is meant by dimension. Now, everyone know that force means what? Mass into acceleration. Mass into acceleration. Okay. M into A. Mass into acceleration. M into A. M mass fundamental only. 7 table you have to remember. Mass is coming in the 7 only. Acceleration is not there. That will be derived. Acceleration means velocity by time. Again, mass. Time is also fundamental, but velocity is derived. Again, velocity we are going to write displacement by time. Means time by time. Time into time. It is going to become time square. When this one we are going to write, what will happen? M d. This t comes to the numerator means t power minus 2. T power minus 2. Here d is what? Displacement. Displacement means what? Length only. Displacement means that will be length. Yes or no? Displacement means that will be length. Now what? See here, the powers to which the fundamental quantities are raised. Mass here only one term is there now. Length is also one term. Means the powers to which fundamental physical quantities are raised in order to express the given physical quantity. Andre ನಾನು physical quantity force na express ಮಾಡಬೇಕು in terms of what? Basic quantities. Yes or no? ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು physical quantities na powers raise ಮಾಡಿ fundamental quantities in terms of fundamental quantities ನಲ್ಲಿ express ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ dimension ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Yes or no? We are going to call it as what? Dimension. Yes or no? Clear? Clear? Yes or no? Yeah, any physical quantity we are going to express in terms of what? Fundamental quantities. Yes or no? Express in terms of the powers of a fundamental physical quantity. Here, mass, length, time. Yes or no? Mass, length, time. That one we are going to call it as what? Fundamental. Sorry, that one we are going to call it as dimension. Yes or no? That one we are going to call it as dimension. Now we can discuss about what is meant by dimensional equation. Yes or no? Dimensional equation. Dimensional equation. Dimensional equation. The expression for a physical quantity. The expression for a physical quantity. The expression for a physical quantity. The expression for a physical quantity in terms of fundamental quantities. Physical quantity in terms of fundamental quantities. Yes, in terms of fundamental quantities is called dimensional equation. Yes, is called dimensional equation. Is called dimensional equation. Okay, simple one. The expression for a physical quantity in terms of fundamental quantities. In terms of fundamental quantities is called a dimensional equation. This dimensional equation always we are going to write inside the square brackets. Dimensional equation always we are going to write in terms of the square brackets. For example, now see here we written for force. No? Force. Force is what? Inside the square bracket, m power 1, l power 1 and t power minus 2. This one we are going to call it as what? Dimensional equation. This is dimensional equation. The expression for a physical quantity. Expression for a physical quantity in terms of fundamental physical quantities. This one in terms of fundamental physical quantities is called as what? Dimensional equation. Yes, we call it as dimensional equation. Now, dimensional formula. Yes, dimensional formula. Dimensional formula. Dimensional formula ಅಂದ್ರೆ simple ನೋಡಿ. This RHS of the equation. This RHS of the dimensional equation we are going to call it as what? Dimensional formula. Yes, dimensional formula. This m power 1, l power 1, t power minus 2 is there now. This one we are going to call it as what? Dimensional formula. Yes, dimensional formula. Clear? Yes, this is about what? Dimension. Dimension ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ನ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬೇಸ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟೀಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪವರ್ಸ್ ನ ರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನಂತೀವಿ? ಡೈಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ನಾವು going to call it as what? Dimension. ಆ ಡೈಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಸ್ಕ್ವೇರ್ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಡೈಮೆನ್ಷನಲ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಡೈಮೆನ್ಷನಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ RHS ಆಫ್ ದ ಡೈಮೆನ್ಷನಲ್ ಈಕ್ವೇಶನ್ we are going to call it as what? Dimensional formula. Yes, the dimensional formula. Now we can Say we have to write the dimension. Yes, no, we have to write the dimension is that will be simple. Say mass. Always we are going to write capital M. Physical quantity and dimension. Physical quantity and dimension. Mass we are going to write capital M. Length, capital L. Length, capital L. Time, capital T. Time, capital T. Next, temperature, capital K. Temperature, we are going to write capital K. Same way, electric current, capital A. Electric current, capital A. Next, amount of substance, we are going to express in MOL only. Amount of substance. Next one, luminance of intensity, that one we are going to write in CD. This one we have to remember. We have to write the dimension for any physical quantity. Yes, we have to write the dimension for any physical quantity. Means we have to remember this one. This you should remember. Means first one will be simple. Mass we are going to write what? M. Length, capital L. Time, capital T. Temperature, capital K. Electric current, capital A. We are going to use these 5 only. Yes, almost we are going to use these 5 only. These 2 also you should remember. Now, keep in mind, when you go for in your first year syllabus or second year also, writing the dimension for a given physical quantity, it will be very, very important. When you go for in first year or second year also, maybe a chances of asking the question. Yes, sir. In first year also there will be chances. In second year also there will be chances of asking the how to write the dimension. Yes, sir. To write the dimensions. No. See here, we have to write the dimension means we should follow the rules. Rules to write the dimensional equation. Rules to write the dimensional equation. So we should follow the rules. First one, if they are going to ask the write the dimension for given physical quantity means first we should write the relevant formula. First one, whenever they are going to ask to write the dimension for a given physical quantity means first we should write the relevant formula. Write the relevant formula for the given physical quantity. Yes, my relevant formula for the given physical quantity. Second rule, convert all derived quantities into fundamental quantities. We should convert all the derived quantities into fundamental quantities. That's the first one. You should write a relevant formula. Second one, we can convert all the derived quantities into fundamental quantities. And third step, write the dimensions in terms of fundamental quantities. Yes, write the dimensions in terms of M and T. Otherwise, we can say write the dimension in terms of M, L, T. These are the 3 rules we should follow when you are going to write the dimension. Yes, when you are going to write the dimension. Keep in mind, this class and next class we can practice how to write the dimensions only. Yes, now we can practice how to write the dimension only. It will be very important in first year point of view also, in second year point of view also, in your competitive exam point of view, NEET, CET and JEE mains part, JEE exam point of view, it will be very important to write the dimensional equation. It will be one compulsory question from your competitive exams, any exams, they will be based on the dimension, one compulsory questions will be there. That's why now we can practice from 2 classes, we can practice how to write the dimensions. Yes, sir. We have to write the dimension means we should follow these 3 steps. First we should write the relevant formula. Next we convert all the derived quantities into fundamental quantities. Next finally we can write the dimension. Yes, now finally we can write the dimension. Now we can practice few. We can make a table now. Physical quantity, formula, dimension. Physical quantity, formula, dimension. Yes, no, physical quantity, formula, dimension. Now first one we can take area. First physical quantity we can take area. Yes, sir. Area. Area how we are going to measure? Area A is equal to what? Length into breadth. Length into breadth. For example, I am going to take this just area I have to find out. I am going to measure what? Length into breadth. Breadth, length. Now, this length and breadth, first rule is over. Yes, sir. First I am written the physical quantity. For this one I have to write the dimension. Means first step I am going to write the relevant formula. I written length into breadth. First rule is over. Next step, convert all the derived quantities into fundamental quantities. Check. Length, fundamental only, no? Next, breadth. Breadth means is also length only. Breadth means this is also length only. That is also derived only. Yes, no, that is also derived only. Sorry, that length is also fundamental. Sorry. Length, breadth. Length is fundamental. Breadth means that is also length only. Yes, no, that is also length only. Both will be fundamental. No need of conversion. Yes, no need of conversion. Both will be fundamental only because length means length and breadth will be same. Yes, no, length and breadth will be same. Distance between the 2 points we are going to cut as what? Length only. Both will be same. Now L into L, this is going to become what? L square. There is no mass term, there is no type term. That's why we are going to write M0 L2 T power 0. Otherwise we can say only we can write L power 2. Yes, no, only we can write L power 2. Clear? Now for this one area L square law, length is also in meter when you are going to write the unit, breadth is also in meter, meter into meter, unit it will be meter square. Yes, sir. In blue ink I am going to write the unit, unit will be what? Meter square. Yes, sir. Meter square. Same way when you come to the volume, capital V. Same way, volume, already people know I have to write the dimension for a volume. Volume is a given physical quantity. For this given physical quantity, I have to write the dimension. Okay, come to our rules. First we should write what? Relevant formula. Volume is length into breadth into height. Yes, sir. Everyone will be familiar with formula for volume. Length into breadth into height. Now second rule, convert all derived quantities into fundamental quantities. We can check. Length, fundamental only. Now already I told breadth means that is also fundamental. Height means that is also fundamental only because distance between the 2 points we are going to calculate is what? Length only. Now length is also fundamental, breadth is also fundamental, height is also fundamental. That's why how many terms? This will be L cube terms. Now when you are going to write the dimension, this is L power 1, this will be L power 1, this will be L power 1, L power 1 plus 1 plus 1, there will be 3, L power 3. Now M power 0, L power 3, P power 0. This is what? Dimension for volume. It's a dimension for volume. Now when you are going to write the unit, when you are going to write the unit, length in meter, breadth is also we are going to measure in meter, height is also we are going to measure in meter. Meter into meter into meter means that is what? Meter cube. Unit for volume it will be what? Meter cube. Yes, no, unit for volume it will be meter cube. Next one. We can come to density. We can come to density. Density here I am going to write symbol rho. Keep in mind. Density symbol I am going to write. Rho means what? Density only. Density means what? Formula mass by volume. Density mass by volume. Now come here. First condition, first step is over. Writing the relevant formula. I written density will be mass by volume. That's not relevant formula I written. Now convert all divided into fundamental. Now in this formula check. Mass and volume are there. Mass is what? Fundamental. Volume is what? Derived. Yes, mass will be fundamental. Volume will be a derived quantity. Mass is fundamental quantity. Volume will be derived quantity. That's why we have to convert derived quantities into fundamental quantities. Yes, derived quantities into fundamental quantities. That's why I'm going to write mass. Converting means what? Converting is simple. Writing the formula first. That's it. Writing the formula. This is derived. This derived we have to write the formula. When I'm going to write the formula, length into breadth into height. Length into breadth into height. Now when you are going to write the dimension, m power 1 terms are there. Mass. Length into breadth into height. Volume is what? L cube. This L cube comes to the numerator means what? L power minus 3. Means when you are going to write the dimension, m power 1, this L power 3 comes to the numerator means L power minus 3. L power minus 3. There is no time term, that's why P power 0. T power 0. This is for what? Density. Yes, this is for density. Like this we can write the dimension. Yes, like this we can write the dimension. Means first step writing the relevant formula. Yes, writing the relevant formula. Second step will be converting all derived quantities into fundamental quantities, and finally we are going to write the dimension. Now we are simple. See here. Unit when we are going to write, we are going to measure mass in what? Kg. We are going to measure mass in kg. Then length, breadth, height. Unit we are going to write kg per meter cube. Kg per meter cube. Unit will be kg per meter cube. Like this way we are going to write the dimension. Yes, we are going to write the dimension. Clear? I think it will be clear. We written area, volume, density. Now I will give 2 homework. 2 homework. Next class we can discuss the remaining quantities. Okay, you can work out how to write the dimensions. Yes, how to write the dimensions. First one you can take velocity. First one you can take velocity. Second one you can take speed. Second one you can take speed. Third one you can take work done. Work done. Fourth one you can take energy. Fifth one you can take power. These 5 you can work out it for homework. I will discuss next class. Okay, based on your answer I will discuss next class. Okay, work out. Follow these 3 rules. First write the formula. Next you can convert all the derived quantities into fundamental quantities and write the dimension. Speed or velocity, already know displacement by time, speed distance by time, work done, force into displacement, energy. Okay, you can take either maybe potential energy or kinetic energy of mv square, or you can take mgh. Power, work done by time taken. That's not power means work done by time taken. Using this, we can work out it. We can discuss in the next class. Thank you.